Hello, my name's John, and I'm a storyteller. I love stories. I hope you do as well. And I've got lots of wonderful stories to tell you. I've actually produced a website with all these stories on, www.biblestorycards.co.uk. You can see all my stories. I'm also a bit of a painter, and so I paint pictures to help me tell my stories. I hope you enjoy them. Hello everyone, this is John the Storyteller. I've got a marvellous story for you today. It's not a story that Jesus told, it's a story about Jesus, which is all the more exciting and interesting to me because it tells us something about Jesus that is so important. And you need to learn this, and you need to believe it. Anyway, the story goes that Jesus was at this house, and wherever he went, there were crowds there. There were so many crowds inside the house and so many outside that these four people wanted to get their paralysed friend. That's paralysed means you can't walk. You've never been able to walk since you were born. And they wanted to get their paralysed man in front of Jesus. But there was no way they could get him through the door. So one of them said to the other, I tell you what, let's climb up the stairs outside the house and smash open the roof and let him down through the roof. That's a good idea, they thought. So off they went and carried him up to the roof of the house. When they got to the roof of the house, they broke open the roof and they looked down. And there was Jesus in the room, surrounded by crowds of people. Now what are we going to do, they thought. One of them said, let's tie a rope to each corner of his bed and let his bed down in front of Jesus. Oh, you'll have to bear with me while I do this because it might take a bit of difficulty to do. But there were these men on the roof with the man in his bed, and they tied ropes round his bed and they let him down right in front of Jesus. The crowd were all excited about this. I guess some of them started to laugh to think that the man was let down through the roof on his bed. Jesus took one look at this man and he said this, "Son, your sins are forgiven you."
What?
Said one man. You can't say that. Only God can forgive people's sins. You mustn't say that. That's something that we call blasphemy. Calling yourself God. Well, said Jesus, I want to prove something to you. I want to tell you that I have authority to forgive sins. I have it, said Jesus. Well, they didn't believe it. It's easy to say that, they said, but you can't prove it. Well, listen, said Jesus, and he turned to the man and he said, I'm going to prove to you that I have authority on earth to forgive sins. He said to the man, get up from your bed and roll up your bed and go home. And everyone stood there, sat there with their mouth wide open, wondering what would happen. Well, I think you can guess what happened, can't you? Because Jesus had the power of God in his life, he could perform miracles. And the man got up, took up his bed and went home. And a lot of the people said, this must be God's King, the Messiah, if he can raise somebody up from being paralyzed ever since they were born. Well, that was just one of the things that Jesus did to prove that he was God's Son. And to make sure that we knew that we could believe on him and trust him as God's Son. Do you believe in Jesus Christ as God's Son? That's the way to get to heaven.